Daniel Sports Central will be over an NFL game preview and prediction on the 2022 wildcard round matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Las Vegas Raiders. Huge match for both these teams coming up here in the wildcard round, and both teams have had outstanding seasons to this point. The Bengals, of course, first playoff game for them in quite a while, so a huge opportunity for them, and Joe Burrow has had a massive part in turning around this football team. And Cincinnati just a couple of seasons ago was the worst team in the league, so it's been quite a while since Cincinnati has been relevant and in a decent playoff spot, as they are currently seeded number 4 in this season's NFL playoffs. They're facing off against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders come in as the number 5 seed in the AFC as well. Of course, you got the Raiders. This is a football team that just snuck into the playoffs. They beat the Chargers in Week 18, leading to a playoff spot for them. And if they lost that game, they wouldn't be in this position right now. So, yeah, huge opportunity for both these teams in the wild card round. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Bengals lost to Cleveland, the Browns 16-21 in Week 18. They had a tough loss there, but obviously the Bengals, in a playoff spot, really that game didn't matter too much. They finished out the season at 10-7, so once again, outstanding season for the Bengals getting into this position in the first place. Cincinnati, they were just a bottom feeder in the NFL, one of the worst teams in the league, and here they are, 10-7, and this team is a legit Super Bowl contender. Let me tell you, this is a football team that I could see easily getting to the conference championship and potentially even past that. So, yeah, watch out for Cincinnati. Definitely a playoff dark horse heading into this postseason. And Las Vegas, of course, kind of the sleeper of this playoffs. They're seeded number 5. They jumped up to number 5 with that win over Los Angeles, 35-32. And even if they tied that game, it could have been a tie easily. They still would have been in the playoffs. It just would have changed who they'd be playing right now. But yeah, Raiders, I'm not sure if I want to play the Bengals if I'm Las Vegas here. Cincinnati, of course, they've had a few inconsistencies down the stretch, but Joe Burrow, he is a winner, and he is an outstanding quarterback. And I think once he gets into the playoffs and this Bengals football team, they're going to be very dangerous moving forward. So Raiders, they got a tough challenge ahead of them, that is for sure. Go down Saturday, January 15th, Cincinnati, Ohio. So the Bengals got the home field advantage here. 4:30 p.m. Eastern time is your kickoff time. Spread's going Bengals here by 5.5. So Cincinnati is favored by a decent amount for this matchup. Over-under is 49, so a moderate scoring game is expected here as well. And Cincinnati is currently favored in the FPI as well, 67.5%. So FPI going on the heavy side towards Cincinnati for this matchup. So as I said, though, Bengals, this is a football team that's got a tremendous amount of talent, and Jamar Chase, he's been outstanding. And having that duo between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase has been huge for this offense. Joe Mixon in the backfield has been huge as well. The Bengals, this is a dangerous football team offensively. Defensively, they've had some good performances as well, but this offense is really where this football team shines. Series history, Las Vegas leads at 21-12. Win streak at Cincinnati by 1, and then last 5, the Bengals do lead it to 4-1. So in the long term, Vegas has had more success in this series, but Cincinnati recently has had more success. Some recent matchups: Bengals lost to the Browns 16-21, beat the Chiefs though 34-31. That was a huge win for Cincinnati. They're going against Kansas City, which I believe the Chiefs are probably the favorite to win the AFC. You got, honestly, the Chiefs are probably my number 1 team, the most likely team to end up winning the AFC there. But the Titans, they're okay. I don't expect them to be a big contender. I think Cincinnati, though, Cincinnati is a big threat to win the AFC, and I really do mean that. This is a football team that just was a bottom feeder in the AFC, which is hard to believe now, but this team is for real, and I give them a pretty good chance to go on to be in the AFC Championship, maybe even the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, of course, they beat the Ravens there 41-21, another huge win. Beat Broncos by 5 there, 15-10. Did lose to the Niners in overtime back on December 12th, 23-26, but it's a close game for sure. So down the stretch, Cincinnati's played well, and speaking of playing well down the stretch, looking at Las Vegas, they've won 4 straight. Beat the Chargers 35-32, beat the Colts 23-20, beat Broncos by 4, beat Browns by 2. So all 4 of those teams are decent football teams, and Las Vegas, no one gave them a chance. After that December 12th matchup against Kansas City there on the road, they lost that game 9-48. And pretty much everyone, including myself, had counted them out of the playoffs, and I just did not expect, the Raiders with their schedule. The Colts were on fire. It looked like Indianapolis was going to be a decent seed in the AFC. They were on fire down the stretch until they dropped their last 2, and suddenly the Colts are out of the playoffs, which was insane to me. But I mean, yeah, Chargers too. I expected Los Angeles, the Chargers to be in the playoffs too, but Las Vegas came out of nowhere, and they have performed outstanding down the stretch. So yeah, Raiders, potentially they're a dangerous team as well, but I mean, they've played a lot of close games over the course of the season. And I would say Derek Carr, I mean, this is probably his best season to date. I mean, Derek Carr, I mean, he's a pretty experienced quarterback now. And I mean, this is arguably his best season statistically. I mean, his stats are outstanding for this season. So, I mean, he's not a top-tier quarterback in the NFL, but he's definitely an excellent quarterback to say the least. And he's definitely a playmaker for this offense that's done fairly well over the course of this season. And, of course, you got several playmakers on this offense. I mean, Jacobs, another huge impact player on this offense. So, watch out for Renfrow, too. Renfrow has come out of nowhere. He's really played well. So, yeah, Las Vegas, they got plenty of playmakers offensively, and they're very capable of winning this game here. But Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, he has been a top-tier quarterback, I will say. I think he's certainly a top-5 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's right alongside, I would say, Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. I don't know, Pat Mahomes and A-Rod are probably slightly better than Joe Burrow but as of right now. But Joe Burrow's got tremendous upside looking to the future. This is only his second season and his first full season in the NFL. So, yeah, Joe Burrow, he is for real, and he's definitely a quarterback that I think could very well win a Super Bowl in the future with the Bengals. It is extremely possible. So, yeah, Cincinnati fans, no matter what happens in this playoffs, I mean, you got a very bright future in Cincinnati, that's for sure. Burrow-Chase duo has been brutal to stop once again. That's been huge for this Bengals team. So, definitely keep an eye on that. But, yeah, defensively, they have been promising at times. They've had some bad games, but at the same time, Bengals are certainly still an outstanding football team. That's on defense. I mean, defensively, they've had some promising performances, even though, I mean, you also got to say this team has been inconsistent at times. But for Raiders, won 4 straight to get to this point. Once again, this team was counted out when they were 6-7, but here they are at 10-7, facing off against the Bengals in the playoffs. Derek Carr having, once again, arguably his best season, and defensively, we're generally pretty good in December, I will say. I mean, if you look at some of their scores, I mean, this team defensively has played pretty well. Offensively, their numbers haven't been insane, but I mean, it kind of depends on the game there. But yeah, Raiders going to need a great game offensively here, especially, I mean, honestly, on both sides of the ball, going up against a high-powered offense here with the Bengals. But that being said, let's get to the prediction here for Bengals and Raiders wildcard round matchup in the AFC. I'm going to go Cincinnati here, 24-20 is my final score. And once again, I mean, the Bengals, this is a football team that I could see definitely making a deep run in this playoffs. I mean, it sets up perfectly for them. And if you're a Cincinnati fan, you want to play Tennessee in the divisional round. So I would be hoping that the Bills and the Chiefs both win this weekend, because if they both do, that sets you up to play Tennessee in the next round. Like, I will say, like, for Cincinnati here, having to travel to Buffalo or Kansas City in the next round, that would be, I would say both those matchups would be extremely difficult if they were to happen, and brutal environments. Tennessee, I mean, no offense to Tennessee or Titans or anything, but I just don't think they're a pretty weak 1 seed. I mean, they've got talent, and I mean, if Derrick Henry comes back for them, they're seriously a threat. But I mean, I just don't know that they're 100%. And I mean, yeah, if you're Cincinnati here, you want to play Tennessee in the next round. But that being said, I do have the Bengals getting past this round, 24-20, 55% towards the Bengals. So I do expect it to be somewhat closer than expected. I've got Vegas covering the spread, and I'm taking the under as well. So I expect a lower scoring game as well than what the over-under is at 49 here. But that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. I got the Bengals winning this one. Once again, final score 24-20. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.